It is extraordinary to see these rabbis and Jewish leaders describe Zoran Mamdani as a greater threat to Jewish New Yorkers and to the city and the country they love than Donald Trump. I've watched these videos put out by rabbis calling on their congregants not to vote for Zoran Mamdani, and I thought to myself, have they done similar videos about Donald Trump? If you act as I think the Jewish leadership of the institutional Jewish leadership of New York City and beyond has, as if Zoran Mamdani is a greater threat, more offensive, more of an emergency than Donald Trump, what does that say? It seems to me it's pretty clear what it says. It says that you care more about preserving unconditional American support for Israel than you care about preserving America as a free country for you and your children. And this is something that we saw when AIPAC made this very clear when AIPAC endorsed, dozens, if not hundreds of members of Congress who had supported the January 6th insurrection and refused to accept the legitimacy of the 2020 election. We see that the American Jewish leadership, when faced with the question of what is really important to them, liberal democracy, which has been the foundation of American Jewish flourishing, the principle that American Jewish leadership supposedly believes in the United States, but turns out actually not to believe in it very much because they're willing to fight much harder to ensure a system that denies equality under the law in Israel and Palestine than they are to try to defend a system of equality under the law in the United States. And so they end up allying with white Christian nationalist bigots who are turning America into an authoritarian society. And if they haven't noticed, will ultimately also be a threat to Jews. Because fundamentally, what I think the anti-Mamdani campaign doesn't understand in the Jewish community, just fundamentally doesn't understand, is something simple. If they're willing to go after him as a Muslim, if they're willing to go after trans people, if they're willing to go after black people, if they people who are bigoted and have a view of America as a tribal white Christian nation in which everybody else has been subordinated, those people will get to Jews sooner or later. And the people who are best likely to be your best allies are the people who have a principled opposition to bigotry and a principled belief in human equality.